Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this incredible webinar. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are going to be talking about Dubai, and I am so excited. So, if you are an entrepreneur and looking to expand globally, this is your spot. If you are a business professional looking for corporate relocation activity outside of the United States, this is your spot. And if you're an investor looking for investment decisions and opportunities around the world, this is your spot. And today with me, I have Varun Kapoor, who is an incredible connoisseur, not only a traveler, but also has 40 years of experience in Dubai and has actually been in Dubai through the transformation from a trading hub to a sophisticated capital market and top tourism destination around the world. Varun is also in foreign direct investment, private hotel and real estate development, as well as family office and institutional investor tracking, where the world is actually moving next. And not only is he involved in longevity of a hospitality, wellness and real estate, and travel infrastructure, but he is also a fellow yogi. So I am so excited to introduce him. Again, my name is Denise Macias, and I will be your host today. And if you're not following me, please follow me on all networks. Find me on LinkedIn, find me on YouTube, find me on Instagram. I have 15 years of experience in corporate relocations. And today I'm so excited for this show. So let's get started. Welcome, Varun Kapoor.
Love it. Good to be here. That was the best introduction ever. Nice to be here.
So happy to have
Yeah,
you. And I'm excited to know. Why don't you tell us just a little bit? I gave the introduction to who you are as a professional. Give us a little bit about what you've been working on and the things that you're doing right now.
for sure. Firstly, thank you for inviting me to this wonderful platform that you're curating. Early days, and I think it's going to be very important for people to learn about global real estate, global hospitality, mindset, culture, and trends. So it's a pleasure to be here. For me, I'm originally from India. I was born there, but my family moved soon after I was born to Dubai. Back then, Dubai was just evolving from a fishing village to, what it is now. And, we all lived around the airport, and it was a very small city. Everything was 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes away, and it was simple life. We just played sports, and we went to school on camels. I'm kidding. We didn't go on camels, but
As I say,
but when
we
I because when I went to university in Canada many years later, people used to think and ask me like, firstly, no one knew Dubai in 2003, right? So I was in Canada, and they're like, "Oh, Dubai, what is that?" I'm like, I have to describe to them, "Oh, it's next to yada yada yada," and they're like, "Oh, desert camels. You go to school in camels?" And I'm like, "Wow, okay, people really don't know Dubai." And then 2007, when I was graduating from Dubai, from university in Canada, everybody knew about Dubai. So that was the transition. It was funny. I left in 2003. The Dubai market opened up for freehold real estate, and it massively came on the scene. So by the time I came back to Dubai, 2007, it was popping off. We had people moving in, people buying real estate. Trend was on. The global markets, as you know, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, the market was on fire right before the GFC. So I came back to Dubai, and the market, was super excited. Everyone was like buying properties, flipping it. Off-plan market had just started, and everyone was making buck, and it was a super exciting time. I was just 21. I was like, okay, I didn't know what really was happening. So I took a job at a consulting firm at PwC, and I was doing government advisory on tourism development strategy, and that was my job. But I had an opportunity to get into real estate brokerage, but I chose consulting. That was the And in hindsight, at that time, probably the smarter decision because 2008, 2009 happened and the world kind of collapsed and the market literally fell, crashed. People lost a lot of money, including a lot of people close to me because, it was that flipping game that was happening. It was a casino. It was a straight up casino in Dubai in those days. And it was the first time that really ever happened. So people were doing this for the first time and it was like euphoria. You see euphoria in the stock markets. And that's exactly what was happening. So when the market turned and corrected and when the liquidity dried out, the government was levered. They didn't have the infrastructure in terms of regulation, policies, escrow accounts. Developers were leveraged, and there was no way to kind of secure the investors' money. The legal framework wasn't in place.
Wow.
So yeah, it was very, it was like just winging it. They were going with the flow and it was working. So why not? That's what you do. And the market turned hard and globally, right? So the rug was pulled, and we went through at least 3 years of dead market. But people were building. The Middle East is a region of entrepreneurs. Out of which half of them are Indians. Indians have business in the blood, so we kept building. And then we saw another turn of the market around 2012, 2013. We had a good 2 3 years, and then the market kind of slowed down again from 2015 to 2017, 2018. There was a lot of challenges for various reasons. Geopolitics, we had Arab Spring in the region. There are a lot of things that were happening in general, culturally, geopolitically, and economically, where the government was still investing and the government has a vision. So, we were all doing well, but real estate wise, there was a big dip for like 4 or 5 years. And then just as we were coming out of it, the pandemic happened in 2020, and that again took us back a bit. But that's when Dubai really turned on the heat because they were one of the first countries in the world that were the most progressive in terms of the policies and infrastructure regulations that they put in place, where then they just completely opened up to the world. And by 2021, it was suddenly the number one market where everyone was flowing in, and then the real estate market really took off. So we've been on a 5 year bull run, which has been unreal. It's been absolutely unreal bull run where like real estate in the luxury market has, if you bought like a villa on the Palm Jumeirah, easy 4x, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
Obviously regular markets, you've gone through 2x, 3x, but like these are unheard of. Like how do you get a IRR of 400%? Like it's unreal. You just don't get these numbers in real estate. You normally have like 8% returns per
Yeah.
year. Here you're getting like 400% over 5 years, so it's like 100% IRR per year. So it's just been a fascinating time. And now we've gone through obviously the geopolitical scenario with the war that's taking place, and that's where the correction's happening now. And one thing that I think people, and we're going through it as we speak, and but this time it's different. This time we've built an economy that is well regulated, which has all the downside protection. It has all the legal frameworks. It has escrow accounts. It has people now as people who are investors are not leveraged. People have bought with cash, and people are here to stay. In 2008, Dubai was still new on the map. So people were here, they were like, cowboys making money. When the market collapsed, they just bounced. So there was a vacuum in the market. Now we're 20 years in, people are not leaving. People have built families here. People like not, it's not individuals moving to Dubai anymore, right? It's families moving to Dubai right now, right? And this is their home and they love it. And Dubai has given them everything. So it just fascinates. It's been very interesting for me to see the media. I go to YouTube and I see these like crazy videos and titles of Dubai is burning, Emirates is crashing, and like the most disastrous images. And it's just been a fascinating experience. We're on the ground and everything's fine. People are mostly living their lives normally. Yes, it's psychologically draining. It's mental warfare more than anything else. It's scary. So, we've also left and we're traveling, but it's not that bad. Transactions are going through a process, which I'll talk to you about a bit later. But anyway, I'll pause there. Sorry, that was like a story about Dubai, but
I
it's
love
been
it. No,
it's been
I
fun.
think I think that's great because that gives me an insight to everything that you have lived through. Like you just
Yeah,
the different timings. And I think the one thing that is a common denominator through those different phases is the resiliency that Dubai has
yeah,
faced. And even
yeah.
yet, it's not stopping, and every single time it seems like anytime there was a setback, it was like this really big comeback.
Yes,
Right. And I
that's
feel
it.
I actually studied emerging markets. So Dubai has been on my radar since back in 2015. Thunderbird was really big on studying emerging markets and what was going to come next. And I always had it in my heart to kind of explore this incredible country that, they talked about and that you talked to me about. I remember you telling me I'm from Dubai, and that always intrigued me. I said, well, what's in Dubai, And turns out it's more than just, the skylines. When I was there, I think there's what I think I read in my notes that there's about 200 nationalities that live in Dubai. That
Yeah.
is fascinating to me. And I think I didn't,
And
I,
90% expats. 90% are expats, right? So
wow. See that I
yeah,
don't even have that in my notes, but I do know this. I know that I got to see those 200 nationalities when I visited the Dubai Mall.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
where I said to myself, oh my gosh, it is. It's a melting pot. There was just a
yeah,
lot of culture too, and just the rail method, transportation, the infrastructure's there. But as you said, I think the most important piece is that the regulatory environment be well structured. And that's where, just these new geopolitical issues that are coming through. Now that that's in place, I think that it's going to put on a different landscape for what's to come in the future. And for that, I have
yeah,
Dubai actually as my top three to be keeping an eye on in the next 24 months. I think it's going to be considerably one of
yeah,
the best investment opportunities. And I always say this to my investors because I saw it in 2019. Now, I live in Idaho, completely different than Dubai. Completely, right? But there's one thing that we do kind of have in common, and that's when we go through these real estate cycles. People kind of tend to perform the same way. And I remember when 2019 came around, while people were stopped and they were kind of going home, there was really savvy investors that were picking up investment opportunities at that time, and they knew that there was more risk involved, but they were still, investing. And when the dust settled, they were winning. And so I
yeah.
think, we're kind of facing these times and issues again in the real estate market because even in Idaho, we're still feeling the geopolitical effects of what's happening around the world. And so I
Mm,
think that for a lot of the people that are still out there and investing, I think they're going to see it through when things settle. So that's great. All right. Varun, can you talk to me a little bit about the cultural considerations about just what business professionals need to be aware of when doing business in Dubai? Can you give us any tips
yeah.
and advice?
You know, you're operating in a Muslim Arab country, right? So respecting that context is non-negotiable. I mean, they're very open. You can dress as you want. You don't feel like you're in a conservative country, and for the most part, it's not that conservative compared to the rest of the region, right? So you're pretty much free to do as you please as long as you show respect to everybody around you. Um, you know, you have Ramadan, which is probably the most important period to understand, right? It's a time of great generosity and hospitality, right? So when you get invited to an iftar dinner, it's a significant relationship building moment. So you shouldn't schedule like hard deadlines or critical negotiations during Ramadan, right? This is like a secret, like underlying tips, right? Like these are moments where like you can really network, you can get into these rooms that were normally very difficult to access. Um, and people are very giving and forgiving, right? You also have concepts, like concept like what it's called wasta, right? Wasta is influence through personal connections, right? And that's when that you hear a lot about. So people ask you, "Oh man, how did you get that job?" Or "How did you get that?" Everyone says, "Oh, wasta," and that's it. Like, "Oh, okay, cool," and that can mean subliminally many different things. But it's a thing, right? It's a thing that is actually quite common in the region. So it's very interesting to see. And you know, we don't talk about politics, right? Politics is whether it's Israel or Palestine. No one talks about it. And like when I grew up in Dubai, like I didn't even know what the drama was about. Like I didn't even know about Israel or Palestine in that sense because it was just like no one talked about it. So I grew up not even knowing anything about it. Can you imagine? It's wild, you know.
I feel the same
Um,
way, actually. I can relate to
yeah,
that feeling as well, too. I know that,
yeah,
obviously, I'm in the United States, and that is something that I still don't begin to wrap my head around,
yeah,
even as an
yeah,
adult.
yeah, yeah. At the same time, you don't criticize the government, you don't comment on royal family matters. It's relatively liberal, but there's clear social and legal lines that you need to respect. So that's very interesting. In terms of business culture, contracts matter, right? You have good legal frameworks. Foreign investors specifically, there's a lot of good track record now. People have been coming here for a long time to do business, starting with trading, starting with pearls, and then into oil and gas, and then tourism. So it's a very business driven culture. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, people like to do business here.
Oh my gosh, those are like the best tips to know, especially when it comes to when you talked about Ramadan. I think that that's important a lot for the entrepreneurs and business professionals that you have to do enough work and put enough in the pipeline before that time comes around. Because if there's no hard stops or deadlines, then we need to respect that. I know,
Yeah.
dealing with Mexico, there's a period between December 12th to January 12th that, there's not a whole lot of business happening. So I always
Mm,
advise my companies like do enough you can before that December, deadline comes around. So that's great to
yeah.
know. Uh, so
Yeah.
tell me about tourism. What do you think is like the top country that visits Dubai?
So firstly, tourism has been, let's talk about the bigger picture first, right? Tourism has been the biggest driver for the Dubai growth. And let's take a step back either. It's not just tourism, it's Emirates, it's the airline that is the driver of the growth of Dubai. Emirates realized in 1985 that, and they started with like $10 million and they leased two planes from Pakistan or something, right? So they were nothing, a small airline. And they realized that we are the center of the world. I mean, like we connect East, West, we connect Asia to Europe. So let's start bringing people through this country and build out that as core infrastructure that will bring people to our country. So today, if there's no airline, there's no Dubai. So you need to understand that. Like aviation drives this country, right? People come because everyone's an expat in the first place, right? And people transit here. So Dubai has built, Emirates has built the world's largest fleet for I think 150 airlines, all wide body of planes with the longest like long haul airline, right? And they're the number one airline for the last many number of years. So that's the first thing you need to understand. Emirates moves the world, and based on that, they then started building the infrastructure. They built the tallest building. They built a hotel in the ocean. They built everything that you've seen over the years. And there's a saying, build it and they will come. So that's been the mindset. Many
Yeah.
people say, oh no, we got to like get people here. And like, the Europeans overthink these things. The leadership has a vision. They know what they want. They have the guts and they go for it. So they just built and they invested and they built amazing infrastructure. And yes, you have the land. I mean, you have the ocean, you have the sun, you have the sand, and they leveraged it and they marketed it. So the next thing you got to learn is the marketing to Dubai. Like Dubai tourism has done a phenomenal job over the years. And it's not just marketing, it's bringing sports events, it's about bringing cultural events, it's about bringing business events, the MICE industry, right? You have GITEX, the world's leading technology exhibition. You have Gulf Food, the biggest food exhibition, right? So you have to understand they built a reason for the world to come here. They built the airline, they built the hotels, they built the experiences, the events, the tourism, the business, the financial center. And then all of that then leads to hype. It leads to people talking about it. And then that leads to tourism. So in 2025, at the end of last year, we had 20 million visitors, tourists in Dubai. The year before that, we had 18 million visitors. In 2026, it was projected, right? Not going to happen, to have 23 million visitors. But now, instead of having a 5% to a 10% growth rate, we're going to have maybe 30 to 50% decline, right? We're going to lose, I don't even know, $30 billion or something in the GCC in general. Like I was looking at some stats. I mean, really knows, but instead of having a 10% growth rate in the Middle East tourism, you're going to have a 30% decline in Middle Eastern or GCC tourism, which is going to be around $56 billion lost, right? So, I mean, for us, it's difficult for us to quantify, but this is what numbers are being thrown around. So this is a big hit. Like if you look at hospitality, hotels were operating easily at 84% capacity, right? Luxury hotel ADRs, 400, $500 a night, right? Now, what is the capacity now? 5% because of the
Yeah.
conflict. Some hotels are shut down. We've 30,000 people in the hospitality industry have been let go, apparently. Again, just some numbers. Many hotels like the Burj Al Arab, JW Marriott Marquis, Park Hyatt have gone into renovation. So good time for them to renovate. So again, what's the future of hospitality going to look like? And this is what we're talking about now. Like, what are the aviation routes going to look like? You know, Turkish Airways, Chinese Airlines, Air India have actually won. They've won out of this conflict because the Middle East airlines are not being able to fly. So now all these other airlines are activating the routes. So now there's more routes between London and Dubai, London and Mumbai, for example, not Dubai, right? The Chinese airlines are taking over the routes, doing long haul direct. So you're seeing now a shift where the Middle Eastern airlines, Etihad, Emirates, and Qatar Airways, were dominating long haul travel for years, and they're going to lose that market share. And once the market share gets lost, it's very difficult to come back, which actually ties into your corporate relocations business. So corporates, right? All these airlines have agreements with corporates to move their employees for business travel. These are all agreements that are set in stone. So Emirates has an agreement with IBM, and then they book. But now, when there's a conflict happening, IBM sends a global advisory saying, "Hey, you can't fly Emirates." So now, where does that employee go? They look at another airline. Now, if that employee now moves to another airline, they're booking through that. They realize, oh, this airline is not that different from Emirates anymore because every airline has been trying to up level the game, right? This seat is quite nice. This food is quite nice. Are they going to go back to Emirates? There's a big chance 30% of them might not go back to Emirates. So this is the risk. The risk is when you lose people, you gotta really hope they all come back. But again, this makes me even more bullish because what I'm really looking forward to is how these countries are going to reinvent themselves. How they're going to reinvent themselves, their product, their offering, their marketing, their full entire value proposition. And you have no idea the kind of stuff that's happening behind the scenes. I don't know a lot of it, but they're releasing a 1 billion dirham stimulus package Dubai released last week to support the local economy, tax breaks. That's just the base level. But what's going to really happen is the next 6 months of what's going to be very exciting to see how these countries are going to reinvent themselves. So, they're going to bounce back. The world's going to come back, but it's a very tough time right now in the region. And we'll see where this ends up.
Wow, that's an amazing backstory too on how tourism really evolved. And I know when I was there last year, I was told that Dubai is also building the largest airport in the world, and
Yeah.
they're leaving the one that they have right now just strictly for Emirates flights. Am I correct?
So the current airport has a capacity of 90 million passengers. The new one that's coming up has a capacity of 250 million passengers a year.
Wow.
It's nuts. And on the presentation, I'll show you, I mean, a little bit of what's happening, but it's that's the game. And the plan is eventually even Emirates will move there. But yeah, eventually that's going to be the centerpiece of travel and logistics and trade. And it's phenomenal what they're building.
Yeah, that's
It's going to be
incredible.
very interesting.
I mean, and just to hear how it went from just, and you're right. I think Emirates was really smart when it started making it the middle hub for flights, because I know that my early flights to India or any time that I went out to Asia, I had to stop in Dubai and then from
Yeah.
there take another flight. And so that was always intriguing of like, okay, I want to come back. And so that's very smart on how they got it kicked off and in Emirates doing an incredible job. And I think when I boarded my flight for Dubai last year, the very first thing I saw too was that Trump Tower was coming up in Dubai in 2027. So that'll be exciting to follow as well. I did listen to the National District Export Council, and they talked about Abu Dhabi opening up the first Disney World in 2027 as well.
Yes.
And then also
Yeah.
too, one of the things that was exciting to hear is Microsoft just making waves in Oman and just how they're starting STEM academies just around the country and then Oman just having different professional visas that don't necessarily have to tie back into real estate, but they actually allow you to work and provide a talent in country. As long as you do so, then you can get a visa to work there as well too. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things that are going to be happening, and I think that
Yeah.
especially if anybody like myself too. I don't necessarily think that, this is the moment to say, I'm not going back. I'm just temporarily waiting for
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
to come
You
back.
should. And you
Yes,
should. No one
absolutely.
knows
I
what's
will be
happening. I mean, we're
there.
still in the thick of it. We're still in the middle of it. Like nothing is done yet, right? Like no one knows what's happening with this conflict.
Yeah,
So it's early, it's very early days. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
absolutely. And then you were there too when the Burj Khalifa was being built as well too, no?
Yeah, yeah. I was there at the opening, like when the first day they launched.
Yeah.
I was at the Address Hotel right opposite, and I saw in person right in front of me the grand launch opening of the of the building. I was also there when the Dubai Marina was launched, when so they were building the bridge. I was sitting on the side, and Sheikh Mohammed opened the gates to let the ocean water into the marina.
Uh,
Yeah, we've seen a lot of. I was also there when the Palm Jumeirah. If this is the Palm Jumeirah, they'd only reclaimed this piece, little bit of land right there was the first piece of land they'd reclaimed for the Palm Jumeirah. And in 2004, I think they had a New Year's party on that small piece of land. So I was there on that New Year's party as well. So I've seen everything. We've been there from day one, and it's been a fascinating journey, and it's only gonna get better.
yeah, that's amazing. Wow. I actually am making my way around the world to the tallest buildings. I was at the Burj and then I also visited Taipei 101 and then the Petronas
Mm,
Towers.
Petronas,
Now I'm just
yeah,
kind of I'm making my way through these tall buildings and just, taking myself
yeah,
to new levels, as I like to say.
yes.
So, Varun, you have a great presentation for us, so we can talk a little bit about the real estate portion because I know that's the meat of it. And do you want to share your
Sure,
screen so that you can get through your slides?
sure. It's a very simple, just a high level, just to show you something. Uh, there we go. So, do you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Right. So we're going to start with just a quick insight into Dubai real estate, just to give you guys an overview. So, what do we have here? Right. This is the overarching map of Dubai. Now, do you see my mouse scrolling over the screen?
No, I don't think I can
No.
see
Okay.
this.
Oh, that's funny. Is there any way? Let me see if I can annotate that. It'll be more fun with that.
Oh, I can see now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see
You
it.
see, you see that?
Yes.
I just made a mess on the screen. All right. So this is old Dubai, right? So what I just circled now is the airport where you land into, right? This is where we all used to live 40 years ago, 30 years ago, right? This is what Dubai was. That was it. And this is the creek, right? That's the creek where all the trade used to happen, right?
Mm.
So all the pearl divers, all Dubai is trading from 1900s. Uh, this is where Dubai was built. This is it. So when we used to live here, I used to live like down the street from the airport. This is where I used to live, and we used to like hang out here. And Dubai used to end like literally there, right? So we used to go over the creek to a city here, and we used to hang out, and we used to drive back, and that was Dubai. And now we have all of this, right?
Wow.
So this is what's happening. Dubai is expanding this way, it's expanding this way, and it's expanding this way. And this way you have Sharjah, right? So what's happened is you created Dubai, then you made downtown Dubai. So this is where Burj Khalifa is, right? The tallest building in the world. This is the business and commercial hub. You have DIFC, you have downtown Dubai, you have Business Bay, right? And this is Emirates Living. This is a very important piece because in 2003, like I mentioned back in the day, this is where the freehold journey started for Dubai, in this plot here, this big area here, right? In 2004, my father bought a house here. I was in university. Before that, we were living somewhere here. So we still lived a bit far out. So when I was growing up, the last like 6, 7 years, I used to live like here before the palm, anything. There's nothing on the beach, nothing was here, but we used to live a bit far out. So when I used to talk to my friends, like, oh my God, you live there? Yeah. So I'd like drive all the way into town. We used to hang out here. They used to go drive all the way back. And, it was a mission.
So far.
Because yeah, it was far, like 20 minutes. Like, who the hell drove 20 minutes in Dubai?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. You know what I mean? So we used to like hang out here. We drove there, and then 2003 happened, and people used to come and buy plots here. This is now today the most important area of Dubai. This is where you have Emirates Hills, the big houses. You have Jumeirah Islands. You have, meadows. This is where, it's a very important piece of Dubai today. But 20 years ago, it was in the middle of nowhere. But Emaar, the developer, had a vision. Because Emaar is a government developer. They create the city. So they go and build, and then people follow. Same way, they built this place, Arabian Ranches. This is in 2006, 2007. Look how far this is. This is way out. When they were building this, they're like, what? Who the hell is going to go there? You know, people went. And
Yeah.
this was early days, 2006. This is not a joke. Like you think at least this is like by the ocean. Like here, even in the desert, and like even further away, like it was a wild thought, right? This year, this year, they launched Arabian Ranches 3. Okay. So, and as you can see, Dubai has been moving, in this direction. And they're also been building in the ocean. So you have the Palm Jumeirah here, you have a number of islands up here, right? You have the World Island up there. You have, the Burj Al Arab, which is the ocean, the hotel in the ocean, the seven-star hotel. And then you have the Palm Jebel Ali. So this is the map of Dubai that you really need to understand is Dubai is moving down this coast towards Abu Dhabi and is moving inland and it's going out in the ocean. So Dubai is becoming a very big city. But the magic for me, where I talk to clients and I talk to investors, or where they need to be looking at is this whole area here, right? Which is called Dubai South. Dubai South holds the new airport, right? So it's fun with some colors. This is the new airport, that we mentioned.
Mhm.
And this is the corridor that is being built, where you're having connectivity to Palm Jebel Ali. Whoop. You have connectivity to all these Dubais. You're having new roads being built. And most importantly, you have Expo Living. This is Expo City and Expo Living. I'll talk about that later. And then you have all these new Emaar developments.
Wow.
Again, what did I tell you? Emaar builds the city. They build and people come. So they're building beautiful new residential communities. They're building the Grand Polo Club, Grand Polo. They're building Emaar Oasis and the Heights and a lot of other developments. And a lot of this is already filled, by the way. All this is like busy, yeah. All of this has residential homes as we speak. And then you have the valley here by Emaar, even further out. But then you have an amazing new road that connects you straight into the heart of Dubai in 15 minutes, right? So what they're building is they're building infrastructure. They're building railway, they're building trains and trams and really fast connecting roads. A lot of new roads are being developed. And yeah, that's essentially what's happening. I just want to give you a quick overview before I dive into the next slide. Any questions for now before we
Yeah. So the
see?
red line that I see, is that the metro? What I'm seeing, the red line that's
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's the red line metro, and then you have the green line here, and you have the blue line here. Yeah,
Ah,
so this is the red line, the green line, the blue line, and then yeah, I think this week we just launched the gold line, which is going to connect a lot of this as well. So we're launching a lot more infrastructure as we speak, and we also have the Hyperloop by Elon Musk's company that's launching as well. So you're going to be transporting a bunch of cars underground in this Hyperloop system, and then you're also having air taxis being launched very soon as well. So you're building all kinds of infrastructure.
air taxi.
Yeah, air taxis. Yeah,
Love the sound.
VTOLs. Yeah, VTOLs. Yeah, yeah,
Very well. Wow, it's great to see that the expansion is not only just going land, but it's also like they're making great use of the water as well too. So
yeah.
I
And you
got to
have,
see,
Dubai Creek Harbor also is a very big development down here. So this is a new development by Emaar. So yeah, a lot of good stuff happening. I'll close there.
yeah,
And we'll come back to Dubai South because this is really the area where is the next phase of Dubai. Like this is done, downtown is done, Emirates Living and the ocean is kind of built out, and this is where a lot of the new developments are coming up.
got it.
So
So you went from like
yeah.
living so far away to now having this very interconnected city, and now you're not so far away. You're in a good
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. So, I've been living in the Emirates Living area. I still live there. I live there now, right? So that's where I live. But I won't be surprised if I live near Grand Polo in a few years, or I go near the Palm Jebel Ali in a few years. Like I'm definitely going to be on this side, right?
Mhm.
Because that's where it's all moving towards. Yeah. So let's take you to the next slide. So
It
all
has
this,
all these
all this,
great
all
drawings.
this mess, all this mess. How do you
I think
clear
I
this
might
up,
stick to the
really?
next slides too.
Oh, how do you clear this up? Sorry, I'm not like erase.
The same way.
There we
Oh,
go.
oh, there you go. Oh, nice. You figured it out. Typically, when I'm under pressure with technology, I'm like, ah, but you got it.
There you go. There has to be a race. I mean, we still, growing up doing paint, remember? We used to
Yes.
have paint on the laptops,
Oh,
computers.
yes. Oh my gosh. Like back in the days, yes. Before we
Yes.
had great Canva.
Yes, exactly. Cool. So this is the Expo City that I showed in the map, and this is in alignment with His Highness's 2033 vision and the 2040 Dubai Master Plan. Now, the Dubai Master Plan is a city-wide development where they want to have more open spaces. They want to make it tech-enabled. They want to double the population. If Dubai's population is nearly 4 million now, they want to take it to 8 million by 2040, right? So that's the 2040 vision. And the government is investing just in the next 4 years around 30 to 40 billion dollars in infrastructure alone,
Wow.
right? So this is all part of the plan. So when people say, "Oh, Dubai is dead," it ain't dead. There's a lot of infrastructure being developed. People are going to be here. They're going to work here. They're going to live here. There's going to be a lot of cool, amazing initiatives that are coming up. So this is Expo City. This is near the airport. We already had the Expo 2020 happened here. So a lot of the infrastructure is already built. And what they're doing that is they're converting this into a commercial and residential area, right?
Okay.
So this is a massive development. When you had the Expo, right? Let me get back to my beautiful coloring thing, right? When you had the Expo, we just had this. That was the Expo,
Oh, wow.
right? And maybe I think this building or something. But now all of this is being developed. So all this is residential. These are villas coming here and offices. That's a whole residential community up here. You have new buildings, residential coming up, and this is being expanded massively, right? So
Yeah.
this is the game. This is where the world is going to come and play. This is the new downtown Dubai. So downtown Dubai today is near where Burj Khalifa is, but now Expo is going to be the next downtown, right? So this is where Dubai Airport is next door, right? This is where the Jebel Ali port is. So like a 10-minute drive, you have Jebel Ali port, which is the world's busiest port in the world, right? You have Jebel Ali Beach, which is near the Palm Jebel Ali. You have the Emaar Mall, the world's one of the biggest malls are going to open here. You have the Dubai Exhibition Center. So the biggest conferences that happen in the world, like GITEX and Gulf Food, are all moving here this year as we speak, right? So everything now, the center of gravity for Dubai is moving to this area, right? So an Expo City is designed to house 35,000 residents and 40,000 business professionals who are going to come there and work there every day. So, and you already have the biggest companies already there operating as we speak. So Nestle, Siemens, Emirates, they already have offices there, right? They launched residents, they launched apartments 2 years ago, and they're launching every 2, 3 months. There's new buildings that are being launched, and they've already gone up like 45% in their price in the last 2 years. So, this is an area where like you have very limited capacity of real estate for residential, but there's going to be insane amount of demand. So anybody who wants to buy real estate in Dubai should buy here, and you can buy a two-bedroom apartment, you can buy a one-bed apartment. It's a great investment. You can have short stays, long stays, so that's something that, keep in mind. Any questions there?
No, I think you actually raised a really good point, Varun. And I think that more than anything, the reason I am doing these webinars is because people are consuming too many pieces of information on a daily basis. I think when I
Yeah.
listened to Jay Shetty speak on a podcast about a week ago, he talked about how like maybe like in the 90s we were consuming like five to 10 pieces a day, whereas now we're consuming at least 500 a day, which is too much.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of misinformation out there. People are listening to the wrong people, and so this is an opportunity for people to hear from experts like yourself that do live in Dubai, work in Dubai, operate in Dubai, and they can see the true numbers and reality behind Dubai.
Yep. That's it.
All right, let's move
All
on to
right.
the next. I love Dubai's future. It looks, oh,
Yeah, it's fun. So this is a project right next to it, like I showed you earlier, the Grand Polo Club and Resort. This is by MR. Now, for anybody who wants to buy real estate in Dubai for the first time, at least, always look at MR. MR is a government developer, is the number one developer. They create the city. They're building amazing products. They have good quality, good finishing. And when shit hits the fan, MR will always hold in value, right? So buy more, keep it simple. And then you can always, do experiment with other real estate later on. But if you're coming in new to the market, buy more, feel free to get in touch and I can guide you as well. So this is, the stables. You have a polo fields, you have a clubhouse. This is the good life. These
do
are
you know how to
villas.
play polo?
No, I can horse ride, but I've not played polo.
I have only played water polo. It was fun, but I cannot say that I have played
Very different. Very different game.
huge, humongous. Yeah, I don't even think I would make it on top of the horse. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. So these are the kind of houses that you're gonna have in that area, beautiful homes. And you also have Emar Oasis, which is next door, which is like a lot of waterways. So the developments that are happening in Dubai now are like Dubai so far has been a lot of buildings that have been developed in the last many years, but now Dubai is expanding inland and it's building beautiful communities. And that's the future of Dubai. It's for families. They're keeping in, connecting sustainability and nature and water and trees and greenery. So all of that now is the future development. So in 5 years, these developments that are coming up, there's like tons of them, not only by other developers are doing really beautiful projects as well. So don't get me wrong, there are really good developers in Dubai now. They're building amazing, amazing, amazing communities. So I'm really excited. Like Dubai's whole look and feel is going to be very different in the next 5 years. This is just an example of the features and pricing. So you can buy a four-bed detached villa at the Grand Polo Club, for a plot of say 3,700 square feet. You can buy for like nearly 6.5 million dirhams, which is around 1,700 dirhams per square foot. That's how we do pricing in Dubai. Most of it is per square foot. Some countries have it per square meter. But that's like the basic pricing, and it's a very good price. This is the off-plan price. So this is the price that you pay on a payment plan. So you pay a 20% deposit, and then every few months, based on how much they're building, you keep making payments. And by the time on delivery, when the villa is ready, you make 30 to 40% final payment, and then you get handover. So that's the off-plan market that we call in Dubai. So it's good pricing at 700. Right now, when you go to Emirates Living in the area that I showed you, a lot of the villas there are going at 4,000, 5,000 dirhams a square foot. Obviously, because it's ready and it's a better location, it's by the water. Okay, that's the old area now. But this is a bit more inland. But by the time there's launches in the next 3, 4 years, this can easily be 4,000, 5,000 dirhams a square foot. You know what I mean? So that's the bet.
and
That's
just
the
for
bet.
viewers, the dirham, we that converts to roughly 1,767,000 US dollars. That's the 6,490,000. I just
Yeah.
did the conversion, so just wanted to see what that number was. But all right.
Yeah. And for a four-bedroom villa with that kind of built up, not a bad deal, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
It's a good setup. So the
it's
pricing
funny
is
because
good.
I
Yeah.
think especially to the like the reality of the pricing, like the $1.7 million just seems so much more obtainable because I think that people kind of live in their imagination. We're like, oh, I could never, afford something like that because everything in Dubai starts at $20 million. And so we're
It
showing you
doesn't.
that
Yeah.
there's an entry
Yeah.
level. So
Yeah. Yeah. These are for good homes. So Dubai, yes, you have luxury, and there's some expensive stuff, but you can now get some really good homes at good prices. So uh switching this is one of my favorite buildings and designs I think I've ever seen. I love it. This is by a developer called Omniat. It's a leading developer in Dubai. It's a luxury developer. This is a commercial building. So it's called Lumena and Lumena Alta. They're two buildings. For your Spanish speakers, I guess you'll understand what that means. But it's the beautiful buildings. I mean, just look at this architecture. I mean, at the top here, you have an open air opera kind of area. Like you're gonna have open air kind of events happening here. This is the office tower, guys. This is all sold out. I mean, there's like you might have one or two that come online that are being resold, and this is right in the heart of Dubai, at the entrance of Business Bay, near Burj Khalifa. So from here you have the views of Burj Khalifa right in front of you. It's right on the highway, right next to the metro station. I mean, I saw this building and I fell in love. This is a beautiful project, and this goes to show you this is going to change the complexion. This is going to change the vibe of the Dubai real estate. Like when this building is up, it changes everything. And now that's going to kind of show the kind of new developments and new buildings that are going to come up are going to have to compete with this. And this is like you don't get a better location than this either. It's right on the main highway, right downtown Business Bay. I mean, unreal, unreal. So this was launched at around 5,000 dirhams a square foot, just to give you perspective, right? It's obviously a bit more higher price, but you know, I think for what you're going to get and the location for an office, good. And they have big offices, so like, 8,000, 9,000 square foot kind of offices. So I think the starting price is around 19 million dirhams, going up to like 60, 70 million dirhams for the larger offices. So
I
that's a
mean,
very
I don't know
exciting
much about
project.
the architecture behind, but I can tell you that from where I stand and what I see is they almost take the shape of a cactus, which is very predominant in the desert. No,
Mm.
that's
Yeah,
what
good point
my eyes
actually.
take me to see.
That's interesting. Yeah. But that's what the architects had in mind. But how
Mhm.
nice is that, eh? Beautiful. Okay, since we're talking to Americans here as well, so we're USA capital into UAE real estate. Now this is okay. Everything I'm discussing from here on is pre-conflict, right? But the UAE has been and Dubai has been becoming increasingly more interesting for Americans. And Dubai for global searches, right, is the number one city now. So it maintains its position as the leading luxury destination, receiving the most interest globally, right? It's overtaken a bunch of the European cities from London, Marbella, Paris, Lisbon. Dubai is pretty much at the top. So that's just interesting to note. And this is where, US capital family offices are looking at Dubai because Dubai, they've realized, is the center of the world. You have the regulations, you have family office structures, you have the gateway to the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Europe, um, you know, and you have other people doing business there. So, and you have luxury, you have good lifestyle, you have restaurants, you have everything you want is in the city. Like you don't need to go anywhere, you know what I mean? So people have realized that now. And that's what's gonna, get them to come back after conflict. Yes, it's gonna take some time, but we're gonna come around. Dubai has proven itself that, it's at the top of there.
Well, one
Um,
of the things that I
yeah,
experienced being in Dubai was how much business I was able to get done with the rest of the world while being there.
yes,
Typically, if I need to do anything globally, I have to be in country. I have to travel over to Portugal. I have to travel to Mexico. When I was in Dubai, it just seemed
yeah. People come to
IPS.
you.
Yep, they were
Yeah,
they were there, so I
there.
was like, this is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Expedited
You travel
process.
much?
I love it.
It is, yeah. I mean, we've had people come to us, and you travel less because this is great. And this shows you a bit more statistics. Dubai has emerged as the most dynamic growth story, and we've experienced a 95% surge in American inquiries over the last year. So if you look at the right chart here, right, where Americans are investing, the US, of course, and at the bottom it's UAE, right? The UAE was at 2% in 2024, and in 2025 it jumped to 4%. So there's a 95% growth from American interests in the UAE market. And another reason is in Abu Dhabi, for example, we have cultural tourism. So a lot of more museums have launched, the Louvre, the Guggenheim, and so forth. So a lot of Americans are also searching that. They want to come and explore the cultural piece. They want to go to the mosque and all that stuff. So the UAE Abu Dhabi is a different kind of proposition. Dubai is a different proposition. So it's been very interesting to see. And then the top 10 regional destinations for US buyers by inquiries. Again, Dubai has come up quite significantly after Tuscany and Andalusia. So again, it's interesting to note that, it's taking a bigger share of American mind, basically. So good to see that.
Yeah, I can see that
And
because it's
yeah,
being built. So I think that that's where the investment opportunities go. People, the investors that are the savviest are never looking for the places that are already booming. They're always looking for the next best market. And I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
especially being in the United States, we've already explored a lot of Latin America, whereas now we're looking for that new sector. And I think that's what Dubai is
Yes.
fighting. So
Yeah, 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 for sure. So we'll see how that goes. And this is just my last slide, which has a lot of data on here, but I'll just take you through it quickly. So, like I said, the Dubai 2040 vision, we're expecting to double our population in the next 15 years. So let's break that down, right? We hear a lot of comments around oversupply and all that. So when you have another 4 million people that are predicted to enter the country in the next 15 years as residents, and things could change because of the conflict, but I think it'll be fine. We'll bounce back. That means that you need around 974,000 new homes over the 15 years. If you have one home contains 4 to 5 people, right? 4 family members and a maid, right? For that, you need around 970,000 homes in the next 15 years. That means you need an average of 65,000 new homes a year,
wow.
right? So a current supply, the delivery is around 30 to 40,000 units. So technically, there is a structural deficit as per these numbers. Now, 85%, if you look at the below 2 points, at this year, we're going to have 80,000 apartments delivered, 11,000 townhouses delivered. This is off-plan properties coming on the market. 85% are apartments. So I would say the riskiest trade is to buy a studio or one bed apartment.
Mm.
But if you buy a townhouse or a villa, you're more than fine. There's a massive undersupply. More and more families are going to move here, and they are moving here. You buy a townhouse or villa off plan, ready in 2, 3 years, you will be fine. Mark my word. It's massive undersupply. 85%, 90% are apartments. And look at the number of people coming here. You know what I mean? So it's for me a no-brainer. And same similar numbers for 2027. And on the right side, I've got a beautiful picture of Six Senses. The biggest trend, Dubai is the leading branded residences market alongside Miami. You have all the biggest brands building branded residences. This is just an example of the Dubai Marina, Six Senses residences. Beautiful building ready by 2030. And over here, the price is obviously higher. So this is going to shows you like a higher price point. Like a 4 bedroom villa apartment, paying 10 million dirhams. See, and a 5 bedroom triplex, you're paying 126 million dirhams. That's like a triplex penthouse vibes. But this is again Six Senses. You have all the amenities, you have the servicing, you have the butler, you have the wellness, you have a prime location with the best views. And that's the building over here that you see. Oh, on the left here, that's the tower there. It's a beautiful, beautiful design. So I'll stop there. That's my little spiel on Dubai.
I love it. You brought so much value to this conversation, especially for people to understand. And I love how you kept it simple, with the choices of where to start, what company to look after. I think that's the biggest issue when I see foreign investors when they're looking to purchase. Who do they purchase from? Which is the developer that they need to be starting with? Especially because the biggest risk, one of the things that I'm trying to cover in that gap is reduce the risk, in having them purchase through vetted developers,
Yeah,
right? I think we've seen that too, especially with our neighbors to the south, where a lot of Americans were purchasing through developers they did not vet, that were not necessarily vetted through US government. And once these developers went under, then basically they went their money because there's no recourse, action after that. So I like the way that
yeah.
you simplified it. You said, look, let's keep it simple. This is who you buy with. And also to the introductory point, Barun, we're getting close to finishing our session here, but um, one of the things that I want to ask you to is like, what is your biggest advice for new entrants? What do you think they need to prepare for the most as a new, let's say we have a person that's out there that's saying, I'm gonna make the purchasing decision and I'm going to Dubai. What is your advice to them?
You know, Firstly, you need to understand the city. And the city is, we talk about real estate purchasing, right?
Yes.
So we have micro cities within the city, and every area is very different and offers very different value propositions. So on that map I showed you, right,
Mhm.
the Dubai Creek Harbor, which is near the airport, beautiful development. Expats are loving it. I mean, it's a big hit. You have a big indoor mall coming there. It's going to be like it's going to be a game changer. But it's far away from Dubai South, which for me is like the future of Dubai. So you need to come and look at and some people want ocean view and they want to be by the water and they'll pay a premium for that. Some people want a villa and they want to be in this community. So Dubai today has 100 amazing developments. I mean, the last 1 year has I've been just like, what's going on? Because the projects that are coming out are phenomenal by different developers. You have Omniat, you have Aldar, you have Majid Al Futtaim, you have Soba. You have amazing developers who are doing beautiful projects across the country. So you're essentially spoiled for choice. So you need to first figure out what is the purpose of investment. Do you want to do it for investment? Do you want to do it for family? Do you want to do it for lifestyle? So figure that out. And then you figure out what's the lifestyle I want. Do you want a villa? Do you want an apartment? Do you want to be ocean? Do you want to be golf racing? You want to be horse riding? Like what do you want? You know, Once you
Yeah.
get that clarified, then we can dive into the different kind of developers, and then you get into the villas, and you get into the floor plans. So it's like a little bit of a triangle structure. So this, learn about the city and learn about what the city has to offer. Take your time, work with your advisor, drive around, see where you feel the vibe like matches what's right for your family. Then you look at the schools, you look at the hospitals, you look at community. That's where MR is really strong, right? MR built Dubai Hills, best community in that city. In that community, you have 3,000 villas and 15,000 apartments. You have a hospital, you have schools, you have malls, you have golf courses, you have all kinds of levels of luxury. That's what you want, you
Yeah.
know, as an expat. So look for these kind of developments because Emar is building these communities everywhere. Expo is a community now. Emar Oasis and Dubai Polo, they're building these communities and everything is going to be like self-centered. So you don't need to go and drive to, the other end of Dubai for your life. Everything is going to be contained in that ecosystem. How does it relate to your work? Where's your office? Are you working remote? Like all these things make a difference.
Yeah.
That's about it. Figure that out, learn the city, and then you'll be fine.
That's amazing. And that's actually one of my rule of thumbs too for any of my investors is if you have not visited at minimum, 6 to 8 times, where you really know the ins and outs of the infrastructure and where things are taking you. It's a
Yeah,
just a healthy number to understand where you're headed. So that's really good and
yeah.
important. And then to close our session, in one sentence, what is your message to the world from Dubai?
We're ready. We're open even now. Dubai is back to traffic. Schools are back on.
Okay.
It's all it's all systems go. So um, events are scheduled. Like you have hospitality, like a travel exhibition called Arabian Travel Market. That was supposed to be last month, but now they've pushed it to August. So the world's biggest travel conference is going to happen. It's happening in August. And that's going to happen. So we'll see you on the beach and the dunes of Dubai.
You heard it, everybody. That is the message from Varun Kapoor to the rest of the world. Dubai is ready, and it is completely ready for you. I hope that you gained a lot from this session, that you learned a ton and found valuable information for your investment decisions. Please know that you can always reach out to us. You can DM me directly, and I can put you in touch with the right people in order to help you make those decisions. We want you growing. And also, to do not forget to tune in next month because next month I will have Alejandro Costa, an expert on Portugal. Portugal is going to be on May 22nd. So please come back to us. And again, Varun Kapoor, this has been incredible, enriching. And I just want to thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and I look forward to many more. Take care.